Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 16, Episode 4. And let me just tell you, OC continues to get better and better and better because this episode was an A+. Now, you all know that I pride myself on being objective and fair, and while I do like Miss Heather Dubrow, she was getting on my nerves. I'm getting a bit tired of her acting like this was the worst thing that could ever happen to her and her trying to push this beef between her and Shannon. But let me not jump ahead. Let's just jump right on into this recap because we don't have a minute to spare. The episode starts off with a short scene. Emily's at home with her family and she's letting Shane know that she wants to throw him a party since he's past the bar. Now, of course, we know that Shane has zero personality, so when she's telling him that she wants to have this party and she wants to hire some belly dancers, he is not interested in the least. Again, I think that Emily was a very desperate woman because the fact that she saw Shane and said, ooh, he would make a great husband, that's just beyond me. But I'm going to get on them in just a few minutes because he tried it when they were on that double date with Gina and her boyfriend. But again, I digress. Now we move on to the next scene with Dr. Jennifer. She's inviting Heather Dubrow over and she's super excited. She's getting the champagne already and that is my kind of party.
We drinking strawberry and champagne. Hold on, let me get a strawberry.
So Heather comes by with a nice bottle of Dom Perignon for Dr. Jennifer. I said, I know that's right. Top shelf. Now say what you want about Heather, but Heather will never come somewhere empty-handed like a lot of these other ladies do. Okay? And she's going to come with the best champagne. Dr. Jennifer says in her confessional that she likes Heather a lot. They have a lot in common, and they're like kindred spirits. I said, now, when I see you guys, I don't see kindred spirits. I don't see best friends. I see two women who just met. I think that it's a lot of ass kissing because Heather has the most money. Dr. Jennifer is giving Heather a tour of her house. I will say that Dr. Jennifer does have a lovely home. The view is absolutely gorgeous. And every single time I tune in for OC, it makes me miss the time that I was there for a weekend. I stayed at the St. Regis. Stunning, just an absolute dream. And then we see Dr. Jennifer showing Heather some family pictures and she's like, oh, there's my husband Ryan and don't mind him, but he always has his shirt off everywhere he goes. So Heather's like, everywhere? And she's like, yeah, girl, everywhere. Like when he drops the kids off at school, some of the other mothers were complaining like, your husband needs to put a shirt on because it's kind of weird. I'm all for showing off your body, loving your body, but there's a time and a place for everything. When you're dropping your kids off, or if you're going to a restaurant, going to a store, put a shirt on. So Dr. Jennifer finishes giving Heather the house tour, and they sit down to talk. They start discussing plastic surgery, and Dr. Jen says that the purpose is to make her patients look as natural as possible. Like if it looks like they had work done, then that means that she didn't do her job well enough. So now Heather says that, she gets Botox too, like on her temple and a little bit, I guess, around her like jawline. Now, this is no shade. I like Heather a lot, but in my opinion, her face doesn't look like somebody who has Botox. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I feel like you wouldn't see all those lines. Maybe, I don't know if it's just me, but I was really taken aback, like, oh, Heather gets Botox? Like, I never would have guessed. Now they bring up Heather's party that ended up in disaster, and Dr. Jennifer says that she didn't get off on the right foot with Noella. She finds Noella to be a mean girl and very condescending. Heather looks visibly surprised to hear this because remember that she and Noella hit it off, and then Heather apologizes for ending the party before they could even eat that amazing Wagyu beef from Nobu. So now Heather says, me and Gina spoke, everything for the most part is fine, but me and Shannon still have beef. And I just don't understand why somebody would go out of their way to hurt Nicole and to hurt me and my family. Now, Heather, let me just stop you. Because what we're not going to do is blow this out of proportion. Shannon should not have said anything to Gina and Emily. We've already established that. I understand your frustration with Shannon. I totally get it. But if we are going to be honest here, Gina deserves the majority of the smoke that you have for Shannon. I think that Gina was dead wrong to come to you at your party and bring this up in the first place. That was the wrong time, wrong place for that. And I find it to be a bit dramatic of you to say that Shannon was trying to destroy and ruin your family. I think that you're dragging this out, and it's really just not that deep. I understand being upset about it for a few days, hell, even a week. But to act like you and Shannon are now sworn enemies because of this one incident, it's enough. And like I said, Gina deserves the smoke that you're giving to Shannon, because that was not Gina's place to say any of that at your party. And let's be real clear, Heather, nobody told you to end that party early. That party would have still gone on with 3 less people. And those 3 less people would have been Shannon, Gina, and Emily. They would have been waiting for their ride back to their homes because I would have kicked them out. But I'm not wasting 36,000 American dollars on Nobu for it to all go to waste. I don't think so. So, child, we move on to the next scene with Noella and Nicole. They are meeting up for drinks. And when I tell you that this scene was a hot mess from beginning to end. Noella comes out with no makeup on, not a piece of a lash, no lipstick, no mascara, no blush, no nothing. Her eyes are all puffy. She's been crying all night because her husband is nowhere to be found and he can't even be reached. Noella's already sobbing. She's ordering some drinks and Nicole is asking questions and comforting her. So now Noella's like, the credit cards still aren't turned on and I need them turned back on because we have the rent to pay and we have my son's therapy to pay for and all the other bills. Like, we need money. Now, did you all catch that rent part? I said, no, sis, if you guys own that fabulous 10,000 square foot home, then why would you say rent? Wouldn't you be saying mortgage? A lot of these women are faking to get on this show, and it's all lies. That stuck out to me like a sore thumb when she said that rent comment. It's episode 4, so I'm going to say it right now. I'm not really feeling Noella. There's something very disingenuous about her and something very desperate about her. Now, I've been reading up on Miss Girl, and it seems like a lot of the tea is coming out about her. So apparently, her and James were together for 6 years, and the 6 years that they were together, he was still married to his first wife. There are a few people on Instagram who are exposing Noella in her own comment section under her IG post, and they're like, girl, we know all your tea. This is all a lie. Like, you knew that James was bad news, and you also knew that James had a host of financial issues before you guys even got married. So please spare us with this. You know, I'm a jilted housewife. My husband left, and now we don't have any money. Poor us. Like, you already knew the deal. So knowing all of this backstory about Noella, I'm now looking at her like you're playing us for a storyline. Because the fact that you were messing with a married man for 6 years, then you already knew that his character was in the gutter. While James should feel ashamed of himself for leaving his son in a bind like this, something tells me that Noella isn't as surprised or as blindsided as she's trying to make us believe. I think that she already saw that the writings were on the wall immediately. Because remember, in episode 1, she said that they lived a fantastic, fabulous life, all this money, he's doing well. And then episode 3, she goes on to say that she knew that they were having financial issues for some time now. So which one is it? It's little inconsistencies like that that make me just hold on and be like, you know what? Something's not right with your story. I think that Noella's going to have a lot of explaining to do at this reunion. And if you go on her Instagram, a lot of people in the Instagram comments are exposing her and they know all her tea. And it's on public record that her husband James was doing very badly financially for years. So just a hot mess. So Noella is ordering drink after drink after drink because she is having the worst day ever. And so she is just sobbing and sobbing and sobbing. And Nicole is like, okay, girl, can you stop all that crying? Like, people are watching. So Noella's upset, like, I need a friend right now. Like, I need a friend who's going to comfort me and tell me it's okay. And Nicole's not doing that. Now, again, Noella, you're getting a wake-up call that not everybody is a true blue friend. Nicole seems like she's very surface level, very shallow. She's there for the good times and the good times only. And she doesn't want to hear all this whining and moping and complaining and how you lost all your money. She's not going to really be there for you. I personally thought that Nicole was very cruel to do that because you were sitting up there sobbing at Heather's house just last week. And now all of a sudden, it's, girl, like, stop all this crying. You know, it's embarrassing. People are watching. Like, are you kidding me? If she wants to cry, let her cry. So now Nicole says, girl, I got the bill. Let's go on to our cars and let's just go home. So Noella's like, I can't get up, and she's still crying. And then Nicole's like, okay, girl, like, come on, like, let's go. We're going home. Like, it's enough. So Noella refuses to get up. And when Noella was crying, I noticed that she had quite a few diamond-encrusted Cartier love bracelets that are worth a good 40 grand. Now, the way my mind works, if she's so strapped for cash, she needs to walk her behind down to the nearest consignment shop and selling all of them for a nice coin. But that scene was really a mess. I thought it was awful that Nicole was not caring at all. She was just looking at her friend like, girl, can you get up? And that's the worst, in my opinion, when you're crying, going through a hard time, and you have a friend who doesn't care, or they're just kind of like, okay, can you stop all that? Like, people who are uncomfortable with emotions, I don't really do well with those types because I'm very emotional. I'm very affectionate, very touchy-feely. So folks who are dry and the opposite of that, I normally don't really hit it off with. You get what I'm saying? But I just felt like Noella says, that's not your friend. And you saw it firsthand. Now we move on to a short scene with Shannon. She's at home in her office space. And I completely forgot that Shannon has a company. I think it was called Real for Real. And they sell lemonade and they sell like shirts and stuff too, right? But they sell a whole lot of stuff. I don't know all of it, but they do sell a bunch of stuff. So anyhow, we find out that Shannon's daughter, Stella, is working for her as her assistant. And on top of that, Shannon reveals that she's paying for damn near everything. She's paying for her oldest daughter, Sophie's college. She's going to have to pay for her other two daughters' college tuitions. And it's just a lot. She goes on to say how her ex-husband, David, only gave her 2 lump sum checks and they don't even cover her monthly expenses. So I was just like, now David had a lot of money. Like his net worth, if you Google it, like it's pretty up there. And the fact that she walked away with a very small divorce settlement and the money that she gets now from him doesn't even cover her monthly expenses, that's a problem. I'm like, sis, was your lawyer sleeping at the wheel? Because I don't understand how you didn't milk David dry. The way David was cheating on you on national television, he was embarrassing you at every single turn. He made it clear that he was not in love with you. Baby, his pockets would be empty by the time he dealt with me. Are you kidding me? I said, absolutely not. Shannon, go back to court and get all the money that belongs to you. I just said, this doesn't make any sense how these judges are allowing this to happen. And also, why isn't David paying for his daughter's college education? Why are you paying for it? Side note, Shannon grew up rich, if I'm not mistaken. I know her dad has a whole bunch of money. He's driving around at his big age in his Rolls Royce. Girl, if these Bravo checks aren't enough, If this company isn't making that much money, go to daddy, okay? The bank of dad still should be open. So if you do need money, go and ask him for a couple dollars. I'm sure he'll give it to you. Now we jump over to the next scene with Gina and her boyfriend, and they're having a double date night with Shane and Emily. So they're sitting down ordering their food, and then Emily says that she's hungry and all she had to eat that day was a granola bar. So now Shane turns around and says, "What are you talking about? You had a footlong from Subway for lunch earlier. Like, I bought it for you, remember?" So she's like, damn. I was like, Shane, are you really doing this right now? Why was that so important for you to remind your wife that she had a footlong from Subway? Just go with it. If she says that she only had a granola bar, correct her in private. You don't need to try to embarrass her in front of her friends. I just feel like Shane does not like her. Like, it seems like he takes delight in embarrassing her. It's very sad to watch. Always painful to watch a scene with Emily and Shane in it. So now Gina starts talking about her day with Noella and how they went to cryo together and how Noella spilled the beans about what's going on in her marriage. So she's like, girl, let me tell you, Noella called me up last night and told me that this man hit her with divorce papers. So Emily's like, wait, what? And I was shocked because Shane was even like, wait, what? And that was my first time ever seeing Shane show any emotion. I was like, oh, so maybe he actually does care about something. Emily says in her confessional that in California, when you file for divorce, you're not allowed to move money around or shut things down. But since he did this and he's living in Puerto Rico, she doesn't know Puerto Rican law. So she's like, I don't know if it's different, but at the end of the day, he should not be shutting credit cards off because, again, he has a child. So why would you even want to do that to the mother of your child in the first place? So now the conversation changes gears and they discuss Shannon. Emily wants to know if Gina is still friends with Shannon. Where does their relationship stand? Gina says that going forward, she's going to enforce boundaries with Shannon. I said, Gina, you're the one who needs to be taking accountability for what you did. You single-handedly ruined Heather's party by saying anything to Heather. I don't understand why you fail to realize that. You made a promise to Shannon that you would not say anything about what she told you. Whether or not you agreed with Shannon saying anything, that's beside the point. The point is, you made a promise, you broke the promise, and now you want to twist it like Shannon's wrong and you're in the right. How does that work? Again, I don't like Gina. Gina is also another desperado who needs this Bravo check badly, and she will do and say anything to keep her spot on the show. And if that means turning on people, if that means breaking promises that she made, she will do it. I think it's pathetic how you're trying to place the blame all on Shannon. No, sis, take that L too. Because you had no business saying anything to Heather about what you heard from Shannon. Emily says that she's still upset with Shannon after hearing that Heather told them what Shannon said about the both of them being manipulative and not to be trusted. We move on to the next scene with Noella and her mom. They're outside by the pool just chilling and talking. And of course, they're discussing James leaving her and her son in a bind. Noella's mom is telling her all about how the process server came to give the divorce papers to her and she threw them in her face. So Noella's really upset by hearing that, and then she says that her mom is her guiding light. They're really close. And we find out that Noella's mom did not like James the first year that they were dating. I said, I'm sure the reason for that is the fact that he was a married man. I'm sure your mom was like, girl, what are you doing? I felt really sorry for Noella when she was saying how he's going to wake up from this and come back and be the James that she knows that he is. I'm just like, for a man to do something so cruel, he's not coming back. I think that you need to make peace with the fact that he's gone. I think she's living in a fantasy land to think that he's going to come to his senses and just they're going to be a happy family again. So now we move on to the big day. It is Shane's party. So we see all the ladies getting ready, and while Shannon's getting glammed up, Noella FaceTimes her. Noella is thanking Shannon for being with her and supporting her and sticking by her side as she's going through a really hard time. So Shannon's like, oh girl, no worries. Like, you're so welcome. Just know that I'm thinking about you and your family, and I just hope and pray that everything works out. Then Shannon wants to know if Noella has spoken to Heather. Noella says that she hasn't, and then Noella wants to know if Shannon and Heather are okay. So Shannon says, no, I sent her a text, and then she reads the text that Heather sent her back, and it's this long 4-page letter of Heather expressing her disappointment in Shannon's behavior. Shannon says in her confessional that Heather holds on to everything, and she feels like she is always apologizing. Then she goes on to add that she apologized to Heather multiple times when they first met, and she feels like right now she's back at square one. So I will say that I do agree with Shannon on that. Heather definitely does like to drag things out. It's not enough for you to say sorry a few times. She wants you to say sorry multiple times, like until you are just on your knees, just like begging and pleading for her forgiveness. I think that Heather is doing a bit too much. Again, I would have been really angry too, but my anger would have been directed towards Gina. Gina had no right opening her mouth and trying to ruin my event. Period, point blank. While Shannon should not have told Gina or Emily, she was wrong for that. I think that Gina should take the brunt of the blame. Just my opinion. I do feel like Heather has a hard-on for being really upset with Shannon, and in some ways she might be wanting to bring their feud back since she's, back on the show and she needs a storyline. I think that's the reason why she's so fast to forgive everybody else except for Shannon. Just my 2 cents. I could be wrong. It just is a bit odd to me that she can't get past her anger when it comes to Shannon. Now we flip over to Heather and Terry. They are on their way to the party and they're in the car with Nicole and Nicole's boyfriend. So Heather has some champagne for them to toast to while they're riding to Shane's party. And Nicole fills Heather in on all the drama that's going on with Noella. So she's like, yeah, I had lunch earlier with Noella and her husband is filing for divorce and it's just a big mess. Like, she has no money, no credit cards. Heather's in shock, like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. So now Nicole decides that she wants to be messy and she drops a bombshell that Noella called Heather a fake bitch. So Heather's like, really? I thought that me and her were cool. Like, she's been really sweet to me. Every time we've seen each other, we've been, it's good. It's been nothing but love. She was sweet to my daughter. So I'm just confused hearing that she called me a fake bitch. It's evident that Nicole has no loyalty to Noella. She does not care about being Noella's friend anymore. For her to throw her under the bus and tell Heather what she said while she was drunk, mind you, that was messy. I said, Nicole, you are so pathetic. You are a friend hopper and you're a social climber and you're desperate. So now we flip over to Emily's house. The party is starting. She's excited. All of her friends are coming in one by one. Shane's parents have arrived. And we see Gina and Travis arrive first. Now, did you guys catch that comment that Gina made at that date night when she said, and Shannon better bring a gift to Shane's party? Why did I not see a gift in either her or her boyfriend's hands? I said, once again, Gina arriving to somebody's home empty-handed as usual. But you have a lot to say about Shannon bringing a gift. And Shannon did bring a gift from Neiman Marcus, I might add, because I can spot a Neiman Marcus box from a mile away. But that's neither here nor there. Heather and Nicole arrive. Dr. Jennifer arrives. and now Noella arrives. Baby, Dr. Jennifer says to Noella, hey girl, good to see you. Let's touch base soon. So Noella's looking at her like, what? Like, about what? Like, I don't need to talk to you about anything. Like, touch base about what? Noella goes on to say how she's not feeling Dr. Jennifer because Dr. Jennifer is very cold and uncaring. Everybody's having a great time. Shannon is kind of awkwardly like standing around in the party. She wants to go up to Heather and try to break the ice, but Heather is visibly ignoring her, so it's kind of weird. And then Shannon decides to talk to Emily and Gina. So now Emily and Shannon get into it, and Emily says to Shannon, I don't appreciate you saying that I can't be trusted and calling me all these names behind my back. So Shannon's like, you know what? I did say it, and the reason why I said it was because you had spread a rumor that you heard to Gina about my boyfriend. So things are getting super heated between the both of them, and then Emily's like, you know what, girl? Hold on. She pulls Heather into the conversation, and of course, you can cut that tension with a knife. Shannon is repeating what she said, and then Heather says, no, that's not what you told me. You told me that Gina and Emily were not to be trusted. So now Shannon's like, Heather, can we just have a conversation? So now Heather says, well, I mean, honestly, we should have had this conversation 3 weeks ago. Like, you had ample time to call me. Now, Heather, here's where I have to get you together because what you're saying isn't the truth either. You were not receptive to hearing what Shannon had to say, and you know it. So had Shannon kept calling you, you would have hit the block button. You would have kept ignoring her. And nobody is about to beg and plead for you to talk to them. And you even said at your party when you kicked her out that you didn't want to hear anything else coming out of her mouth. So what was she to do? So now Heather is over the conversation. She walks away. She's trying to have a good time, enjoy herself, and have some more champagne. So now Shannon is visibly stunned and upset. And she's like following Heather around because she really wants to have this one-on-one conversation right now. So now Heather walks over to Emily and she's like, look, is there a private place in your house where me and Shannon can just talk one-on-one? Because I don't want there to be a crowd. So now Shannon and Heather go sit down and talk in the front. Just the two of them, no audience, no crowd, just a one-on-one conversation to hash it out. Shannon starts off the conversation and she is visibly shaken up. She says, the reason why I didn't immediately reach out to you because you said that you did not want to talk to me. Then she says that I was stupid. I should not have said anything to Emily and Gina. I should have just came to you directly or just left it up here in my head like nobody should have known besides you and Nicole. Then she goes on to say how she wants to apologize yet again and she's not a gossip and she would never do anything to hurt Heather or her family. Shannon extends the olive branch once again and says, I hope that you can forgive me and I really hope that we can move forward because I really do want to be friends again. So now Heather gives us her best dramatics, and I don't know if she thought that she was in The Godfather with this little threat. I said, girl, I know you are lying to me right now. She says, Shannon, if you ever come for me or my family ever again, I promise you, you're going to lose a lot more than my friendship. And that is not a threat, but that is just a warning of what's to come if you try me again. So Shannon's looking like, is she serious right now? Like, did she really just threaten me after I apologized for the 100th time? So that's where the episode ends. And I'm not even going to hold you, but Heather really pissed me off. If you're not going to forgive Shannon, then just say that. But all of these theatrics and you want to keep dragging it out and dragging it out, nobody has time for that. Shannon, let this be your last time apologizing to Heather. If she does not want to accept your apology or forgive you, then let the chips fall where they may, and it is what it is. Nobody has time to continue to kiss somebody's ass and hope that they'll be friends with them or forgive them. Nobody got time for it. You said sorry, your conscience is clear, you made a mistake, Gina and Emily turned on you and broke their promise to you. Now they have you looking bad, and so now it's a lesson learned. Don't ever tell them anything ever again. Period. Heather, I enjoy you on the show, but I'm gonna need you to stop dragging things out. Everything is fine with your husband's practice. Nobody was questioning his reputation. This is something that happened 16 years ago that nobody was even thinking about. Okay? Terry was going to be just fine. He was definitely not going to lose out on business. And the word on the street is you and Nicole fell out and are no longer friends. So now I'm looking at you like you're doing all this for you and Nicole to have still fallen out. A mess. But y'all, this was another fantastic episode. I enjoyed myself. And I want to thank you guys for watching my recap. I hope you all enjoyed. And as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.